Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our meeting this evening. If we could all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Great, thanks. Angie, would you like to do in the roll call this evening?
Thomas.
Here.
Otto. Here. Westover's here. Ingstrom.
Here.
Dockett.
Here.
Braun. Chick.
Great, thank you. That takes us on to the consent agenda, the minutes and bills. Wayne, do you have questions on those?
Yes, I'd like to pull them.
Pull them? Okay. We're going to make a motion to put the minutes and bills into the agenda items. And we'll make it number 9. Can I have a second? Thank you. Ingstrom motion and Westover supported. Those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Adopt the balance of the agenda. Are there any further additions or deletions? No? All right. I'll make a motion to adopt the amended agenda.
Support.
Ingstrom motioned and Chick supported. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. That takes us on to our first call to the public. It's an opportunity for anyone out there to stand up, share your thoughts, give us your feelings. We do limit you to 3 minutes, and keep in mind it is not a question and answer session with the board here. We can address your concerns later. Do we have any speakers? Come on up. Introduce yourself if you could give your address.
Hi, my name's Clyde Hadfield.
Ian Holt. Yeah.
Clyde Hadfield, my wife and
I can't hear you. You're going to have to talk closer.
I don't think it's on. Bill's coming down.
I can speak loud. Yeah, it had been brought to our attention that there's a proposal, the way we heard it, was to give parking spaces to the old marina downtown so they would have to open a restaurant, have parking spaces. If that's true, I can't believe you could do it, because I don't even have to ask your attorney, think it's legal. How can the township help another business compete against another one? Nobody gave us 15 parking spaces. We paid for the flipping things. I went to enclose a porch over there that was existing, caught hell, had to spend $2,000 on drawings to enclose an existing porch, and somebody here is suggesting giving somebody a competitor parking spaces? I don't think so. I mean, that to me is, I don't even see how that's legal. Is it legal to give township property to somebody else?
Clyde, sorry.
That's my point. Like I say, I'm going to talk to the other business people in town. What are you giving us?
Thank you. Do we have any other speakers? No? All right. That will take us to our board member. Oh.
I didn't know if anybody else was going to get up. So how do I turn this on?
It should be on. I think it's on. Why don't you talk into it? Why don't you talk into it, see if it's already on?
I guess, is it on now?
No.
Now is it? Can I just get loud?
No, Mr. Dockett needs to hear you.
It was okay. It was on.
Was it on now? Mm-hmm. Okay. My name is Margaret Rydell, and I live at 65141 8 Mile Road. And I'm here to speak about People's Express. Mr. Dockett, I know that you had some objections to it at the
To
meeting.
what?
You had some objections to funding People's Express,
Oh, yes.
and you said that a person had to wait 3 days to get a ride. And that's true, because they have to set them up in order for it to be cheap for everybody. It's not a taxi service. So it does, they need quite a bit of money to help take our people that need rides, and we do. You brought up a gentleman that needed a ride. I can bring up many. I do the Adopt a Family program at Christmas time, and many of those folks need those rides. Fortunately for me right now, I don't, but someday I may. A lot of you may. It helps them. The rides out to Ann Arbor are like $20 each way if you don't subsidize it. The rides in Whitmore Lake themselves and in around Northfield are about $12 each way, where they're $1 each way if you do subsidize it. So I really hope that you folks take a good long look at it. And one other thing, I didn't appreciate the fact that Lenore Zelenak came up here as a People Express board member, Northfield Human Services board member, and presented this. And somebody said, and I'm paraphrasing now, someone said something to the effect that, well, if you're going to come up here and ask us for money, you shouldn't be throwing rocks at us for how we spend it. That wasn't exactly what was said, but it was pretty close. And I don't think that she was trying to get any money for herself. It was for People's Express. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers? All right. That takes us on to correspondence and announcements. Anything from anyone?
The only thing I have under correspondence is that Lenore Zelnick indicated that she was not going to be able to be present today for the People's Express discussion. So as it says in my memo, it's up to the board if they wish to hear that tonight or hear it another time.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. Takes us under our department head reports. And I will try to keep us in order here. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Wagner, who is here for police and fire this evening?
I have nothing for Wagner.
Nothing for police and fire, Wayne?
I have nothing.
Nothing? Okay. Anyone else? All right. Thank you for your complete report, Bill. Takes us on to our next one, which is our wastewater treatment plan, and we have Tim here. Anyone got questions for Tim and his report? All right, thank you. We got Tammy here from our community center, and anyone have any questions for her? All right, thank you. Our financial report from Kathy Braun, our treasurer. Anyone? No? All right. Takes us to our manager's report. Any questions for Howard?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Wayne.
The downtown planning group is in full swing. We are moving forward on that. I'm going to have more to say on the motorized or on the Main Street path later, and that's it for me on that. I'm wondering if can I talk about this Main Street path when we get to the end of I think it's on the very end of the maintenance agreement for Main Street sidewalk. I'd like to not talk about it now, but talk about it then. Is that fine? Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Wayne? All right. I mean, Wayne, Howard, sorry. Okay. Planning Commission report. Janet, do we have anything?
The Planning Commission passed a resolution to deny Biltmore's request for an amendment to the master plan. That's all that happened at that meeting.
Any other questions for Janet? No? ZBA report. Otto, anything?
Yes, we had a meeting on July 18th. We had two residents bring the variances forward. One was on Hellner Road. It was for driveway construction, and the other one was a non-conforming use to build a pole barn out on Main Street. And both were approved.
All right, thank you. Thomas, anything for Parks and Rec?
No, not really. We are scheduled to meet on the 18th of August.
All right, thank you. That takes us on to our agenda items, and it's number 1, the Downtown Planning Group request for the funds for the Van Curler ribbon cutting ceremony. As you see, the memo was passed out prior to the meeting. Do you have it? Okay.
We've actually used this as an update.
It's not on.
It's probably very similar, but.
We touch the microphone? I don't think it's on. No, got to turn up again.
It's on.
Who showed it up?
I don't know who should.
All right. Better?
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, it's
My
on.
name's Jack Sechrist. I live on Nala Road. Do you need some more, Howard? I've got a few.
I mean, I think that this current letter and the letter that was sent out, the only change was adding myself to the bottom.
A couple other minor changes, but nothing of substance, I would say.
Yeah. We picked them up today. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, so I don't know if all of you have read this note or not. I'm here, and Tim Seville is here representing the Downtown Planning Group. Barbara Watkins is our chair. She was tied up tonight, so we were elected to come and talk to you. We've been meeting probably for, 4 months maybe, Howard, regularly with Howard. We've been learning about how you deal with small towns and moving them forward, and thinking about specifically Whitmore Lake and what we can do and how we can do it. And obviously the newly acquired property is really important to the future of the town and the township. So we've been focused on that considerably. And actually recently at our last meeting, we had Patrick from McKenna visit us at the meeting, and we spent a good bit of time talking with him and talking about what he's going to do. And one of the things we decided was we needed to do something that would create excitement in the community for the development of this park. So we proposed this event on October 23rd, which you can see on the sheet here. And it's actually one of a series of events that we are pursuing, actually led by Suzanne Bellor, in a group called the Whitmore Lake Spooktacular. It's Halloween stuff, and she's driving this, and there are events that are going to start late in September and go to Halloween, volunteer help, and so forth. This would be one of those. We would have trunk or treat there, as you can see, but we would be pushing the fact that Northfield Township has this property. We would be encouraging people, obviously, to attend of all ages, and we would be looking for more input from the community in terms of ideas going forward for this area, so that as we make recommendations to you, we really have input as broadly as we can from the community, obviously with McKenna's help. So, did someone say something to me?
No, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
You're
All right.
fine.
Sorry. All right, sorry. So we've already started to work on this, and we're going to have significant community involvement in this event. We're going to have multiple activities. We're going to find ways to get input from the community at the event for what we do with this park area. This would all be volunteer labor, at least to the extent we can. The funds that we're requesting would be for materials, not for labor. And we think it's going to be an exciting day with a lot of attendance, and a lot of good things will come out of it. And we are coming to you hoping we can get some support for this event. And either Tim or I would be happy to answer any questions. And actually, have we acquired those picnic tables?
Yep.
And we have a wonderful photo of the acquired picnic tables. All right, so I missed that whole thing.
We're moving too fast for you.
So all of you saw that, and I never saw it going by. All right, so here they are. Okay, so that's kind of where we are. The group has, I think, got a lot of ideas. We've got a lot of enthusiastic people. We think we're going to come to you with some good ideas in a variety of directions. This park is obviously central to that, and this is an event that we're proposing to do, and get some support for that we think will create some significant excitement and visibility for what's going to happen there moving forward. And between the two of us, we'd be happy to answer any questions you have or deal with any issues.
Go ahead, Wayne.
I have a question. I don't know if this is the place for it, but you just talked about McKenna. I see where we're in there in our budget here. They've collected like $15,000 this month from us. You know, they're charging a lot of money. And I would like to suggest that we have a running account starting from the day that you people are going to buy this property. Every month we should have what we have spent on this property. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars here, folks. And I believe the government does nothing well, nothing cheap. So I believe we should every month figure out what we're spending on this project. I don't know if that's a talk to you about that, but I certainly think this board should go along with that. This could get away from this. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. So let's keep track of it.
Speaking for the Downtown Planning Group, we will be keeping track of the time that we spend with McKenna for sure, because we have the same concern. And Howard, I don't know what you would comment on this.
The Downtown Planning Group, at least what's in front of you today, is a low-budget, high-impact, event, unveiling, ribbon cutting, to announce to the community that we've bought the Van Curler property. We intend to develop.
Have we signed? Is it ours?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. So we haven't bought it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. But
Should I finish?
Howard has the floor, please.
What's the matter? Howard has the floor. Oh, I thought he was done.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
I'm not done, so.
Okay. So the Downtown Planning Group plans and project is a low-budget, high-impact event to announce to the community this is a public park, and to do some small, low-budget infrastructure so that people can at least start using it. That's why you saw the picnic tables that were passed around. Those were acquired for $50 a picnic table. We ended up purchasing 5 picnic tables at a cost of $250. If the board ends up deciding that they don't want to fund that, myself and Barb Griffith have committed the funds personally for those picnic tables. Those picnic tables came from the Habitat for Humanity store, and they're pretty cheap. So we are trying to create some excitement and an event at a low cost to just kick off the Van Curler property. There's no question that Mr. Dockett is right. Moving forward, the full development of the Van Curler property will cost a decent amount of money, but that's not what is happening today. What is happening today is we're going through the planning processes, we're working on what to do with downtown Whitmore Lake, and how to just do an initial event and some small infrastructure so people can start utilizing that space. That's all that's in front of you today.
I still think we should start right now and keep track of what we're spending on this project. And it should be every month when we have our meeting, we should, because it's going to be tons and tons of money, folks. We need to keep track of it. Could get away from this very easily. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just so you know, and for everyone in the public and for the board, money is spent by the township board. I mean, you guys know about the contract that was signed with McKenna. You know, we bring in these kind of things in front of you. We don't have, per se, a budget for the Van Curler property.
We need one.
If we put a budget in, then those expenditures may not come in front of the board. But right now, almost every single expenditure for the Van Curler property is coming in front of the board.
Yeah, we need a budget for it.
All right, any other questions for our downtown planning group? Nope. I'll make a motion to approve the funding in the amount not to exceed $2,500 for the ribbon cutting ceremony at the Van Curler property.
A support.
Ingstrom motioned and Otto supported. Those in favor?
No,
Aye.
no, roll call.
Chick?
Yes.
Braun?
Yes.
Docket?
No.
Ingstrom, yes. Westover? Yes. Otto? Yes. Thomas? Yes. Thank you. Takes us under agenda item number 2, which is the civic event application for the homecoming parade. The homecoming parade this year is October 7th at 4 o'clock with an ending time approximately 4:30. The roads can start closing as early as 3 o'clock. I'll make a motion to approve the civic event application for the homecoming parade as presented. Ingstrom motioned and Otto supported. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Because number 2 has passed, we do have to do a resolution for the road closure for the parade as a formality. I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 16-548 for the temporary road closure for the
Parade.
Yeah. Yeah, if you read it further, it's 4th of July committee. So, I believe the resolution number would still be correct, Howard?
Easily be changed, just add it as part of your motion.
Okay. So I'll start over. Motion to approve the resolution number 16548 for the temporary closure for the homecoming parade on October 7th.
From 3:45 to 4:30.
Sure, as requested by Whitmore Lake High School. Thank you. Ingstrom motion, Thomas supported. Those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Takes us on to number 4 of our agenda items, which is the Horseshoe Lake Sewer District refund.
So in the audience is a couple. They live or own a property in the Horseshoe Lake area. Just a quick background. When we did the Horseshoe Lake refund, we had essentially 2 sets of original data sources to go off of. We had an original map and we had an original roll. As I indicated to the board many times, there was not going to be a perfect analysis of the distribution because we were essentially tracing back 40 to 50 years of how these properties got divided and how the monies were allocated. There has been one previous individual that I have recommended to receive a refund. A lady has come to me. She is in the audience. I do recommend that you provide her the refund. Her name is Miss Cynthia McVeigh. I believe in reviewing the documents that she deserves that refund. There is one set of documents that agree with that refund and another set of documents that somewhat conflict. But in looking at it in its totality and in looking at the total evidence, I believe in good faith, and it is my recommendation that the Township Board should authorize a refund to Ms. Cynthia McVeigh in the amount of $528.19, which would be the benefit of a small 35 by 100 foot parcel. And it would come from the sewer, I believe it would come from the sewer plant. Yeah.
Yes, I would go along with that, and I'd like to apologize for missing her the first time.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the refund of $528.19 to Cynthia McVeigh in parcel number B-02-17-265-017 as an oversight in the Horseshoe Lake District refund program,
I'll support.
and the funds to be taken out of the sewer department fund. Ingstrom motioned and Chick supported. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
We'll
Take-
cut you a check after the board meeting. You can, welcome to call, and you can either come in and pick it up, or we'll put it in the mail. You're welcome.
Sorry about the oversight.
Or you can buy us a beer over across the street.
All right, that takes us on to number 5, the People's Express contract. We know that we've had a presentation on it. I don't know if you want Lenore here, or do they want to take the floor on that one? Go ahead, Wayne.
I'm not in favor of this. I believe we could call a taxi and pay them $20 to run these people around. I don't think it's a good program. I had a gentleman that lived at my place a few years ago, and he didn't have a driver. He got out of prison, didn't have a driver's license, didn't have any ID, didn't have anything, and he wanted to go to work, and he had to call 3 days in advance, and it was $8 or something then for to go to Ann Arbor or something like that. I don't think it was a good deal, so I'm not going to support it. Thank you.
So I would like to encourage the board to just continue the contract as is. There are a lot of people in our community that are on fixed incomes, and $8 as opposed to a $20 round, and it's not even $20 round trip, it's probably about $20 one way, is a lot of money to somebody who's on a fixed income. And I think currently they have it at $5. So with the amount of money that, I mean, if we're going to spend any money, at least let it be for the community, and at least let it be to the benefit of the people within the community.
Well, let's put down how much money it is. I mean, I'd like to see the $10,000 if that's what you're giving. Why not mention how much you're giving?
It is in the contract.
I don't see it.
Page 2, paragraph 3.
Just speak.
Okay, thank you.
I see it says $20,000 too, so,
That's what they give.
and it's $5 to $7 each way.
Yeah, I personally believe that the township has an obligation to its seniors and its disabled citizens who have contributed to the township for many years through their own tax dollars, that we should be giving back to them and helping them out. So I would be in favor of this contract for another year.
I'm in favor of it because there's no better alternative. But I've been watching the People's Express for a long, long time, and I don't think I've ever seen one go by with more than one person on it. It's usually a whole big bus with one person, and it just doesn't seem like the most efficient way. But I'm not going to say no because I don't have an alternative. But I wish there was one. It does not look cost-effective to me.
Well, if someone's willing to put a motion on the table, we can have a vote on it at that point.
Okay, I will. I move that we support a contract for the People's Express in the amount of $10,000 with the contract beginning January 1st, 2017, expiring December 31st, 2017.
Otto motioned and Chick supported. Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Roll call.
Roll call. Chick?
Yes?
Braun?
Yes.
Docket?
No.
Engstrom, no. Westover?
Yes.
Otto, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Motion passes. All right, that takes us on to number 6, the DF Land Development, Domino's Farms, request to waive fees or change correction in address.
Recommend approval of waiving fees. This was an error. This was most likely an administrative error a while ago. It was not caused by them.
How much would have been the fees that we're waiving?
It's normally $40, but
Oh,
it wasn't even something I'd really needed to look at, so It's just an administrative change that needs to take place.
I'll make a motion to approve the waiving of the fee to correct the address error for parcels number B-02-36-301-006 and parcel B-02-36-301-009.
I support.
Ingstrom motioned and Otto supported. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Number 7 is the Van Curler survey.
I think this is all you, Brad.
So we've had a number of the contingencies come before the board to be reviewed and approved. The last one that we had remaining was the Alta survey that had been requested as a part of the purchase agreement. As a practical matter, Howard and I have been consistently after seller about this to get it to us, that we needed it in order to make a decision. We kept being assured it was coming, and eventually we found out that it had not even been ordered. So we made sure that it was ordered. It was our understanding we were going to get it, towards the beginning part of last week. That didn't happen. Eventually we received it Wednesday? We received it Wednesday of last week. I immediately transmitted it to Howard, who forwarded it on to the township engineer for review. Upon their review of it, it became apparent that there was an easement sort of right down the middle of the front of the property that was not in the title work. Mr. Rushlow alerted us to this. I contacted opposing counsel about it to resolve the dispute between the Alta survey and the title commitment. It was our understanding that Atwell, who did the survey, was going to communicate with the title company to work out the disagreement between the two. However, we found all of this out approximately at close of business on Friday. That's, 4 days ago.
Oh, okay.
So I immediately suggested Monday morning that we needed to execute an extension of the purchase agreement to make sure that we kept our contingency period going. I drafted that. I sent it to opposing counsel on Monday. I contacted counsel contacted them this morning, said, have you had a chance to review it? They were able to get it to their client who was out of town. You'll see in the package that you have at your dais that Mrs. Van Curler gave counsel approval to sign the agreement on her behalf at 10:14 this morning. At that point, we got the document together to get it over to the board for tonight. What the amendment that we have proposed does is it takes the 90 days for contingencies and extends it to September 1st, so that we'll have another board meeting before the contingency period would end, so that we could address the survey at that time. Howard and I both had a conversation with Mr. Rushlow. The nature of this easement...
Rushlow is who?
He's our engineer with OHM. Had a conversation with Mr. Rushlow. It's his opinion, which I agree with, that the position of this easement that's come up on the Alta survey is significant and substantial enough that it is not something that we can go forward without it being resolved. As a result, an extension is necessary in order to keep the purchase agreement alive and to protect the ability of the township to be able to make a wise decision as a result of what we determined from the survey.
But before we have any questions, Mr. Dockett, if I may, one thing, and I'll add a little bit extra to that, in that we are concerned about this easement, and we intend to have a full discussion on the issues of this easement if they're not resolved. There is, while we're not sure how likely it is, there is a likelihood that this easement gets resolved in a legal procedure, because the easement potentially may have been an easement from one party to another party, and now both of those parties hold the the land, and I'll allow Brad to more explain that in detail because it's still a little new to me.
As a practical matter, just to be completely clear, we don't understand at this point what the nature of the easement is. It was indicated to me from counsel for Van Curler that it's possible that this was, the Van Curler property, as I'm sure all of you know, was assembled sort of piecemeal over time as a number of parcels. It was his recollection, or I shouldn't even say his recollection, he believed that what the nature of the easement was an easement over a parcel in the front to a parcel in the back, which two parcels have been combined. And if that was the case, then there would no longer be a purpose for the easement and it would be extinguished as a matter of law. We don't know if that's the case, but that, if that is the case, it's a relatively simple matter.
If it is not the case, then we have to have a very frank conversation about what that easement means, and if we can. Were we able to find any wording on the easement other than what's on the Alta survey? Do we think it exists? Okay, so then at that point, if it's not an easement that can be removed as a matter of law, then we need to go back to the conveyance document and understand exactly who that easement was given to. If it was given to all public utilities, then we would want to proceed through a vacation procedure and try to get that easement vacated. And the board would have to understand that process and understand the risk in that process before proceeding. I am hopeful, I am keeping my fingers crossed that this ends up being an easement that is removed as of right. But if not, we want you to be aware that this is potentially an issue because it is, obviously, if you look at the location of where the easement exists, it is right down the center of what would be the primary park area, not on the lakefront, but the primary park area on the other side of Main Street for this property.
Can we see on here where this is? I mean, it's not highlighted or anything. I'm just wondering. I'd like to know where we're talking about. Okay. All right. Thank you.
And Howard, maybe you could explain what this other survey that was on the, or plat map, what was on the.
It's the post office, isn't it?
Looks like 66-foot wide easement. It was likely an easement that was created for a road, which lends itself to the 66-foot wide stretch. What was that? That's a conversation Wayne wants to have later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it where the post office is?
So, we need this extension approved because we're not through with due diligence.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the extension of the Van Curler purchase agreement for our due diligence period.
I support.
Thank you. Engstrom motioned and Otto supported. Those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Wayne, since you have this other thing and we're on Van Curler, do you want to talk about this right now?
Well, let me see. I don't. Did I?
Howard, since we're on Van Curler right now, you mentioned Wayne wanted to talk about this. What, you know what you're talking about?
What I talked to some people downtown over the weekend. I talked to one lady at the library. She told me that the library had built on, but they had not added any parking places. There's still got 18 parking places. And we were talking about the parking at 75 Barker Road that would be committed to this new restaurant that's going to go in. And everybody I talked to downtown said, look, if anyone's gonna use this parking lot, it should be the people that are here now. And we should not dedicate any of this parking lot to a restaurant that may open or may not. And residents down there told me the same thing, that they didn't think that we should take 75 Barker and dedicate it to anybody. So if this goes through, if this property goes through I'm not gonna vote for it, but it looks like it's gonna, like they're gonna get the Vancouver property. There's all kinds of parking that could be done on the Vancouver property for any reason down there. You could put hundreds of cars on it, so I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the people. They don't need to have to have dedicated parking from what the township owns right now. Thank you.
Anyone else on any Van Curler subjects? All right. That takes us to number 8, the maintenance agreement for the Main Street sidewalk. That's the Main Street, the sidewalk that's being put in right now, if anyone's wondering in TV land or in our audience. That's all the work that's being done on the east side of the road right here, north of the township.
The sidewalks under construction. I was not happy to have received this agreement. I received this agreement probably 2 days, 3 days before the packet came out. I was not happy to have gotten this agreement when I did. That being said, the sidewalk is under construction. I don't agree with this. I want everyone to realize that I am philosophically opposed to all of these agencies coming forth and saying, we'll take over the infrastructure, but you have to pay to maintain it in perpetuity. I am in disagreement with MDOT doing it. I'm in disagreement with Washtenaw County Road Commission doing it. But at the end of the day, the question is, do we move forward or not? And this maintenance agreement essentially is the Washtenaw County Road Commission saying, we'll take possession of the infrastructure, but you guys are going to pay to restripe it. You're going to, when the crosswalk needs to be restriped, when the, flashing beacon needs to be repaired, that we're going to have to pay for that related to the sidewalk project. I knew that it was coming because every road agency in Michigan is essentially said, we're not paying for anything anymore unless the local community agrees to all the maintenance. So I don't agree with it, but it really is a necessary evil at this point.
Go ahead, Win.
Well, I'm very disappointed also. We were told that this Main Street sidewalk project would cost $80,000 and that it would be paid for out of a fund that's, called CDBG, which they give the county, I guess, or the state, gives so much every year. So now we're committed. So anyway, we started out 80,000, which is typical of how this township handles things. Now it's 159,893. So it's just double what we were told that it was going to cost us, from 80,000 to 159,893. Now they say that we have to maintain that, and there's 2 crossing cones or beacons that the township will have to pay for forever. This thing just got so far out of line. It's like everything else this township does. So I'm so disappointed. Now, this is double the estimate that it had. And these beacons are $11,000 a piece. There's 2 of them, $22,000. And now they say that they have in this thing here that says that they want us to pay the DGBG grant, and they want us to pay for the electric. Well, the thing is solar. That's what it says on this paper. We have to pay the electric bill. As far as I know, the beacons are solar. We shouldn't have to pay anything. I mean, it's just sickening what they do. And so I'm very, very disappointed. And it's like everything else this township does. We start out with this much money, it's at least double or triple or more by the time we're done. So I'm just sorry to have to tell you people this. Thank you.
Howard, do we have an estimate of how much it would cost?
Maintenance?
Yeah, at least electricity for the flashing lights.
It's not electric. It's solar.
It's
Oh,
just a standard
okay.
agreement that they have.
What is the payment of energy billings then?
It's a standard maintenance agreement that they have. It's their form.
I understand, but I'd like to know what are we paying for then?
You'd pay for if the rapid flashing beacon needs to be repaired, if there's any issues in the functionality of the rapid flashing beacon, if there are any, when they come and restripe, if they need to restripe the sidewalks, those kind of things. It's essentially maintenance. It's the same thing.
But we're not actually paying for the beacons.
No, the beacons, I believe, are solar. And the
We are
beacons-
paying for them.
No, we are not, Mr.
Well,
Dockett.
they're taking our money for 9 years to pay for it.
Mr. Dockett, you're only saying half the truth. The CDBG funds, none of the dollars, other than this maintenance agreement, is coming out of the general fund. It's all allocated out of CDBG funds. We knew that it was going to go over the initial cost after we started getting estimates in from the engineer when the actual engineering was done on the project. We were provided by the county they essentially agreed to allow us to borrow into the future to complete this project. At the end of the day, it's still a good project, and it's being paid for out of county community development block grant funds. Now, hindsight's always 20/20. In hindsight, was there a better project? Maybe. But when we started this project almost 2 years ago, the school was open. We were trying to figure out how to get the kids off of the street when they walked to the middle school. We ended up getting to a point where we were very far down the line. It took us a significant amount of work to get this project to qualify. We got it to qualify, and we made the decision to proceed. The rapid flashing beacons are part of that community development block grant funds. We're not paying for that out of the general fund. We are paying for it out of our allocation for community development block grants, but we're not paying for it out of the general fund. When I first got here in 2013, we had $65,000 sitting in the community development block grants from the county that had not been used. We had $65,000 in the bank. We decided, the county, not township money, the county came to us and said, either you guys figure out a project, you can't just keep keeping that money forever. So we said, no. When I got there, I said, no, we're spending our money. And not township money. When I very first got here, we started brainstorming what could we possibly do. This was a conversation Chief and I had very early on, that this was a good project. This was a very good project.
Still is.
Yes, and it still is. Did the cost go over? Yes. We didn't manage the project. The county
It
managed
didn't
the
go
project.
over, it doubled. And it's taxpayer money. I don't care. They don't make money. The county don't make money. It's taxpayer money. So,
Okay, well, what's the alternative, Mr. Dockett?
well, the alternative is we should have known. You wrote, this is what you wrote at the last meeting. The Fink report, this project is ready for construction and will be built without township funds. He said the project costs came in higher than expected, at 159,000, but you didn't say, yes, we thought it was gonna be 80,000, and now it's 100. I mean, why don't you just put down, well, we thought it was 80, but now it's double that? No, you didn't put that in there. You just said, now it's 159,000. I think that you're misrepresenting this.
Wayne,
I'm not
Wayne,
misrepresenting anything. Wayne.
you're off track.
No,
Everyone's
I'm
off track.
not.
We
No,
are
I'm
dealing
not.
with the road, the maintenance agreement.
We
Wayne,
should have been told that this is double what we thought. Now, don't give me that crap.
Wayne?
Now, why is it not saying that?
You talk about minutes and bills when it's your turn for minutes and bills. We are talking about the sidewalk maintenance agreement right
And
now.
I'm just saying
That has
whatever.
nothing to do with
Yes,
it right now.
Does. Yes, it does.
You can talk about it
Yes,
later.
This is what Howard said.
So Howard has said this is something the county has shoved down our
This is
throat,
a
just as
bad,
they
bad-
did
It's a bad
the,
deal.
the county, the drain commission
We
and the
have no
whole.
idea what it's gonna cost us to take care of these cones for the next 100 years.
Well, there's nothing we
And
can do about it.
We have
Without
not,
Wayne.
we have not one kid that goes to that school. We have not one kid that'll walk down that sidewalk that's going to that school.
You are absolutely wrong. They
I
run the
am not
preschool
wrong.
out of
I
there.
am not wrong.
They run the
It's a
preschool out of there.
private school. It's a private school. There's nobody going to that school.
How about all the preschoolers?
They're bused. They're not walking.
They can walk now with their
I
parents if
know.
they want.
They could have walked before,
All right,
if that's the case.
Janet has-
What was keeping them from walking
Janet.
before?
Great.
No, it's a bad deal.
I do not agree with the county, but there is nothing that we can do at this point, so I will make a motion to approve the sidewalk, Main Street Sidewalk Maintenance Agreement,
Subject to legal review.
subject to legal review.
I'll support.
Thank you. Engstrom motioned and Chick supported. Those in favor?
Roll call vote.
Roll call. Thomas? Yes. Otto?
Yes.
Westover?
Yes.
Engstrom, yes. Docket?
No.
Braun? Yes. Chick? Yes. Thank you. All right, that takes us now to minutes and bills. And Wayne, what would you like to talk about?
I just like to mention that we're spending so much money on this planning for this property that we don't own yet. And that's our bill is $15,869 to McKenna this month, which is a lot of money. And I think that should be reined in. I think we should keep track of how much money we're spending on this project. And in the minutes, I'd like to talk about the confidential communication that we have on some property that we have tore up the guy's sewer, and we don't have anything signed by him. And I think we could have a lot of problems on the new sewer on Whitmore Lake Road. Thank you.
Any other concerns on the minutes and bills? I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and bills as presented. Thank you. Engstrom motioned and Thomas supported. Those in favor? Aye. Those opposed?
Roll call vote.
You want another roll call?
Oh, no, in the minutes, yeah, roll call.
Thomas? Thank you. Thank you. Otto?
Yes.
Westover?
Yes, to minutes and bills.
Engstrom, yes. Docket?
No.
Ron? Yes. Check. Thank you. All right, that takes us on to our second call to the public. It's an opportunity for anyone to get up, share your thoughts, and we do try to limit you to 3 minutes. And keep in mind, it is not a question and answer session. And we have our first speaker.
Mary Devlin, 9211 Brookside Drive. I've been attending board meetings for over 30 years, and I have to tell you, I have never, in 30 years, seen anybody as negative as Mr. Wayne Dockett, and I'm very sorry that he got as many votes as he did in this election, and I think he ought to be ashamed of himself because, and I have a feeling that when he was a child, the first words he ever said was no, and he's been saying it ever since.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Come on up.
Faith Wheeler, 371 Grove Street on Horseshoe. And I know you can't answer back, but as we went through this, I had a couple of questions and one comment. The first one was on the downtown planning. Since we're also going to be trying to do a function there from the, I don't know what you want to call it, the builders or
The downtown planning
businesses-
group?
Yes, the businesses that want to kind of promote, and they're going to have this function on that property. Since we don't own it yet, is there any liability?
We're not going to do the, sorry, my
Yeah.
apologies.
Remember, if
We
we
won't
answer
do the-
you, we have to answer
Okay.
it, so we cannot answer this one.
Okay, so that's what I'm wondering, liability if we don't own the property yet, and it sounds like we're extending for a while. The other was a comment on the People's Express. Having been a user of the People's Express for 2.5 years when I didn't have a car, and also a person that I was taking care of during that time who had to go in a wheelchair, I found that it was astronomically beneficial. And anybody that's low income, anybody who has children and doesn't have transportation, and there certainly are those folks in this community, we would really be in distress if we did not have that to get people to their doctors in Ann Arbor, to the hospital, and to services that they have to do. So I thank you for what you did on that one. And the last one was on the sidewalks, and I have another question. And of course, we probably had no choice in it, but as I was driving through town the last few days and wondering with all of these things sitting here, when we already have a sidewalk on the west side of the street, and have had for years, to a certain point, I could see a crossover maybe where Nelson's used to be. But, and then down, we could see a sidewalk down past where the rental property is and where you guys are going down and then crossing over just before the sidewalk joins by the school. But why take all this property in front of and put sidewalk in front of all those houses along there when there's already sidewalk on the other side of the street? Didn't make sense to me. More money.
Great, thank you. That takes us to, or any other speakers? Wow, that's loud.
Hello, my name is Russell Wolf. I'm Mary Devlin's youngest son, and I have been back in this community for 3 weeks. I've watched your guys' meetings. I love this community. I've been to many different cities and other small towns. I can't understand why the community cannot grow. I'm also an ordained minister. I have another option, an idea for the parking lot that I've seen other towns and cities use. Make it a pay parking lot so that anyone who is parking could use it and the money would go back to the community. It's an idea. And the sidewalks with the kids, I've been back for 3 weeks, and at least one day a week when I would leave for work, I saw little kids, and I would have to stop and let them go. So there were little kids coming from the old Whitmore Lake High School going along that sidewalk across that bridge. So I just want to thank you for what you're doing, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other speakers this evening? All right, that takes us to board member comments. Wayne?
It cost the taxpayers of Northfield Township $319,645.91 to run the township from 7/12 to 8/4. Thank you.
Go ahead, Jackie.
I just wanted to make an announcement on Thursday, August 11th, between 6 and 8 o'clock p.m. The county, and I think it's the public health, the public health department is hosting, along with the Whitmore Lake High School and the Kiwanis of Whitmore Lake and the Ann Arbor Area Community Foundation, and I explore the health in Whitmore Lake. We have an opportunity to have a funding project for $3,000, and what they're asking people to do is to RSVP to attend. the community conversation to see how we could spend that money for the community, for our kids. And every household that comes to the event will get a $20 gift certificate, as well as being fed. So it is a free event with a dinner, and it's at the Whitmore Lake Middle School. And if you need further information, you can contact me. Thank you.
Great. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead, Tracy.
Just a piece of advice, Jackie. When you're going to give stuff for free, lead with that. let them know the free stuff is first, and then tell them about the other stuff.
Well, it's free.
Anyone else? Janet.
Yep, I just wanted to thank the Downtown Development Group for all the efforts that they're doing, and I'm very excited about the ribbon cutting ceremony. I think it's going to be very successful, and I hope many, many people attend, and like to do what I can to promote that as well. And regarding the McKenna's bill, McKenna is our planner, so most of that money that we're spending for them is for our planning commission meetings and those kind of things. Their only focus isn't to downtown or the Van Curler property. They're helping us with that.
Yeah, I want to thank the Downtown Development Group for being active and thinking about it, for our future events so soon, just so we can have something planned right away versus trying to scramble and put something together last minute. So, and we do hope that we will be in ownership of it soon. Any other further comments? No? I'll make a motion to adjourn. Thank you.